Denver Broncos winning streak finally came to an end. It's unfortunate, but after 11 consecutive wins, the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Broncos on Sunday. And that means for the first time in months, we're talking about some of the mistakes the Broncos made instead of the big plays that they made to win a game. I'm Henry Chisholm from DNVR Broncos, and today we're digging into why the Broncos lost to the Jaguars. All right, so we're going to run through this game kind of play by play. I picked out about a dozen plays, and we're going to go chronologically just to see kind of some of these turning points in the game. Game starts, Broncos force a 3-and-out, and then they get the ball back, of course. This is a 3rd and 11 at the start of the game. It's a fun play call. It's a smart play call. You see these two guys on the boundary. They're running these double posts, trying to clear out everything deep, and that creates two guys underneath with two possible defenders. The idea is you draw these guys out, and then you'll hit Troutman, give him a chance to run. 41 plays it well, sits inside, makes the tackle. You're short of the sticks. The reason I chose to look at this play is because it was a 3rd and 11. Tough to convert a 3rd and 11, especially tough when you're in the shadow of your own end zone. Well, it was a 3rd and 6, and then Garrett Bolles was called for a false start. How different could this have looked if the Broncos didn't put themselves in this situation? These are the kinds of plays that we're going to be looking at over the next 10 minutes or so. The plays where the Broncos did something that essentially shot themselves in the foot and didn't give them a chance to turn the play into a success for whatever reason. And we're going to be jumping ahead here. And at this point, the Broncos should be up 3-0. The Jaguars have gone 3-and-out twice. The Broncos have had a nice drive, but they missed the field goal, put it off the upright. And so instead it's 0-0. It's 3rd and 10 for the Jaguars after that missed field goal. And they almost went 3-and-out on this drive, but a ball whizzed right past Jaquan's hand. It was a tough break. And then the false start on this play should have turned this 3rd and 10 into a 3rd and 15. But what happens? PJ Locke is coming free off the edge. You remember this play. This is the roughing the passer call on PJ that gave the Jaguars a free first down. And I think it's interesting just to look at the rest of the play. Look at this. Running routes, getting upfield, playing, locked in over here, looking at the quarterback. You got this one-on-one down here. The entire offensive line is battling in the trenches. Everybody is playing right now. Everybody thinks this ball is live. And so if you're PJ Locke and you don't hear the whistle blow, all of a sudden you think that the play is live as well. You see one guy give up on the play. Everybody else is still playing other than Trevor Lawrence, who knows the play's dead. And PJ's coming in for the hit. Here's the flag. PJ can't even see the flag coming in because it's behind him. The hit, and that'll do it. That's Zach Allen spiking the ball after he thought he had a big return on the fumble. Again, it's just a tough break. PJ doesn't hear the whistle. It doesn't seem like anybody really hears the whistle. And so it is a 15-yard penalty instead of taking advantage of the false start that makes it 3rd and 15. So what happens? It's a free first down. And we're going to jump ahead a couple of plays to the 3rd and 4. So again, 3rd and 4, chance to get off the field, hold them to 3 after a couple of tough breaks already on this drive. I mentioned the ball that Jaquan almost broke up. Well, you've got this matchup right here in the slot, one-on-one. Parker Washington takes it around, upfield, just a fade here, and it's great coverage. Jaquan's all over him. Trevor just released this ball. Look, all over the receiver, but it's a perfect throw. You can kind of see it went right in over Jaquan's shoulder. You can see right here, again, arm in here, just doesn't quite hit the ball. Great throw, great catch, and all of a sudden you look back on this drive and say, wow, really could have just died on that false start that turned into a roughing the passer. Could have died on the first Jaquan pass breakup. Could have died right here, but it is what it is, and now there's a 7-point lead for the Jags. Jumping ahead, the Jags have gone 3-and-out. It's 7-7 now, and the Broncos are trying to run the ball here on a 3rd and 2 to keep this drive alive. They're right on the edge of field goal range. And watch what happens specifically out here. So you kind of see you got these two blockers for these two defenders, but they play a little game. Outside guy comes inside guy pushes outside. Broncos just a step late with Quinn Miners to read what's going on here and change assignments, because that's Quinn's guy now that they've switched. It's a good little game that the Jags played. What it means is that this 3rd and 2, gets shut down in the backfield for a loss. Still get the field goal out of it. 10-7 now for the Broncos, which is, again, you love to see it, but another play where could have extended the drive. We're going to jump ahead. So this is the very next drive from the Jags. This is the very next drive. Like I said, it's 10-7. At this point, the Jags have gone 3 and out in 3 of their 4 drives. This is now the 5th drive. They're inside the Broncos 30-yard line. There was a big gain to Brenton Strange because they were able to get him matched up with Dre Greenlaw. But the Broncos have a 2nd and 11. It's a great situation. You'd think you're getting off the field. It's going to be a tie game after the field goal. But what do the Jags do? It's a same side toss to ETN. You have a double team at first to pin down Jonathan Cooper on the edge with a puller coming all the way around the outside. He's going to match up with Riley over here. Now, maybe you could get nitpicky and say, Jaquan, don't take this step inside. Begin with the 2 blockers. The reads are a little bit different. And eventually he does come back around the outside, which you can see here. So he cuts inside. He's pulling through here. Got the puller. You got the double team. And Jaquan almost has this tackle, but doesn't quite make it. And look at this matchup here too. This is a massive offensive lineman coming up against Riley Moss. That's a matchup that the offensive lineman wins. Now, you would love in this situation for Riley to be able to put a shoulder into him and kind of make him set his feet right here, make this tackle a bit easier. It's just unrealistic when you've got probably a 330-pounder going up against a 190-pounder. So what happens, gets knocked back a bit, makes it a little bit tougher for Jaquan to make this tackle. And then all of a sudden, you've got Singleton in pursuit. Singleton maybe takes a step too far outside, but that's kind of what he's trying to do, is funnel him back in at the very least. Sneaks right by him, luckily tripped up by Zach Allen, and boom. All of a sudden, that 2nd and 11 that we were talking about, saying, hey, even if you give up 5 yards here, it's 3rd and 6. You've got a great chance to get off the field. Jags are all the way deep into the red zone, and a couple of plays later, it's a touchdown. Jags go up 14-10. 6th play that we're going to talk about. It's a 3rd and 4 here. We're halfway through. This is right after the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes on the clock. This is the very next drive after what we saw. Broncos on this 3rd and 4 need to pick up a first down in order to get into field goal range. And ideally, you keep going, you run out the clock, you go get a touchdown. But at the very least, go pick up this field goal here, pull within 1 point, get some points before halftime. So you'll see this is a maybe not necessarily flood concept, but some similarities to it. The cool thing here, you're going to see eventually Pat Bryant's going to break out here. This guy is watching this flat, which gives you the opportunity to have some space on this sideline. This guy is going to come deep and pull the corner with him. So again, you have that pocket right there, and all you have to worry about is, will this linebacker undercut it? The answer is no. And here's Pat Bryant on his break. If you're Bo, you just want to get this right out here to the sideline. What happens? Maybe leaves it a little bit inside. Still a catch that you probably should make if you're an NFL receiver right here. Again, could Bo have made it a little bit easier, put it on this side of his body? Absolutely. Game changer, though. Takes 3 points off the board, essentially, because you're going to get the field goal, assuming Will Lutz doesn't miss a second in this game, and obviously have the opportunity to keep going. So, again, what we're talking about here are these turning point types of plays that one thing happened, if the other thing happened, then the game could have played out very differently. And the Jags will obviously have a bunch of these plays that they feel the same way about. Or if they had lost, they would have said, oh, if we had just had this one, if we had had that one, it's right there for us. Right after halftime, for example, on the Broncos' next drive after this one we just talked about, the Jags give the Broncos 2 free first downs on penalties, and the Broncos go and score a touchdown that ties the game up. So, again, you can't expect to make all these plays, but when you go back and say, what's the difference in the game? These are the differences. We're going to jump ahead to a 1st and 10 here in the second half. Again, 17-17 at this point. The Broncos came back and tied it up. And this is just a little swing pass. Should be for a big loss here. You can see Malcolm Roach hits Trevor Lawrence, sails the ball. ETN has to backtrack to go and get it, and is immediately hit. And there's the pile with Roach and Trevor Lawrence. So, should have been 2nd and 17 after the 7-yard loss. Instead, Malcolm Roach roughing the passer, free first down, 15 yards, and they're coming up to the 45-yard line. No, sorry. They were at the 40. Jeez. They were coming up to the 45-yard line on the other side. Again, big swing in the game, because if you get that 2nd and 17, you really think that you're going to get off the field. Again, later on the drive, they thought that they were getting off the field again, or at the very least, Jahdae Barron had set up a 3rd and 9 by breaking up a pass, providing good coverage in the end zone. Instead, they call the pass interference. Jags get the touchdown there instead of the field goal, take a 24-17 lead instead of the 20-17 lead. It's all these little things where the Jaguars are just consistently coming out on top. And here's what could have been the most fun play of the game. Again, Jaguars just took that touchdown lead. Broncos go wildcat. They're hunting the big play. Marvin Mims comes in the backfield, takes the handoff, pitches it back to Bo Nix. And Cortland Sutton has a step on a defender who's still like turning here, so it's going to become even more space. Safety has no idea what's happening. I don't know why he's going that way. And look at that gap. This is right when Bo is throwing the ball right here. You put this out in front of him, maybe even toward the sideline, just make it a little bit easier. Easy walk-in touchdown. It's all set up perfectly. It's a little bit underthrown. Again, it's underthrown, but the guy was thrown from 10 yards back here. That's a 50 yards in the air. Would have loved 55 because that would have made it easy. 60 would have made it awesome. Jump ball. Cord almost comes down with it. Ball bounces free here, as you can see. Again, just another one of those game-changing plays. Now all of a sudden you're down 7. And this is where things start to take a turn. 3rd and 3 here. Broncos have a chance to give the ball right back to the offense. You'll see cover 3, safety deep. These guys playing the boundary. Riley's going to drop. Ufunga has the flat. Just the one potential weapon on this side. You'd think between these two, in some form, they can kind of cover this space. Quick out route. Easy throw, easy catch for a first down, and it should have been, 5-yard gain. Riley misses this tackle. Ufunga can't drag him down after he kind of gets funneled back at a weird angle. Next thing you know, 63-yard gain. So a couple plays later, actually the very next play, Jags score touchdown, go up 31-17, and that's where things get out of hand. So we're not going to dig too deep. We got a couple plays left. Still, Broncos have the opportunity to come back. This is still late in the 3rd quarter. There's plenty of times. Touchdown, stop, touchdown, and it's a tie ball game. But what happens? They run the read option. As Bo Nix said after the game, they both wanted the ball. So the ball winds up on the ground. Easy for the Jags to jump on. Already across midfield, in field goal range. Now you're down 17. And that's where things get maybe not impossible, but you're saying we need 3 scores. They wind up getting a pretty quick field goal. We're jumping ahead a couple drives here. At this point, there's still 8 minutes on the clock. You're down 14. Again, it's touchdown, stop, touchdown. It is possible, but they've got you stopped on this 4th and 2. And Bo Nix kind of stares down Pat Bryant. He sees the one-on-one. Safety's going to come and help. He's eventually. I thought he was going to come down there a little bit further, but not yet. So you got the one-on-one. He likes Pat Bryant. You start to see running back leaking out. He's staring this down, so the linebacker's leaking out. This is all covered. Tyler Baday's open. Again, why is he open? Because Bo was staring this down, and so the linebacker was leaking. If Bo wasn't staring down the receiver on the boundary, who knows? Linebacker might sit inside, and all of a sudden this doesn't look like the way that it looks here. Could he have escaped and run up the middle, leaked out the outside? Potentially. I don't think either is a guarantee, but I like the chances better than what we're seeing up here at the top, which turns into an interception, and that's the one that really seals it. So again, when you watch a game, you come away feeling a certain way. You feel like, oh, the run defense was fine, but then it fell off, or the pass defense wasn't there. Pass rush needs more. You come away with these big feelings. Sometimes it's important to go back through and see exactly what happened, because if the Broncos just change a couple of these things, I mean, what happens if the Broncos just hit the deep ball and tie the game up at 17 off the flea flicker? All of a sudden, you've got a close game. What happens if a couple plays after that, they just get off the field, or even just only give up the 5 yards on the 3rd and 4 instead of 3 more points that extends the lead? There's so many little things that happen in a game. Again, I come away looking at this saying all these plays are there. You had some tough breaks. You had some bad penalty luck. But you could have had this one, which you should be saying about just about any team when you're 12-3. But we'll see what happens. End of a 1-win streak is hopefully the beginning of the start of another. We'll see what happens on Thursday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
We all silly like the mayor.